So the title is Adolescent Exploration of Identities in Third Space. We were very interested in really feeling committed in addressing holistic education and well-being through this beautiful concept that everybody is talking about, justifiably so, through blended learning, but embedded in reflexivity. So in the process of the research, we really tried to help our students and to give opportunities to our students to think and reflect about their activities and their whereabouts in virtual space, especially throughout this 1.5 years that we've been experiencing, unfortunately, the pandemic. So this qualitative research mainly sought to understand the perceptions of adolescent students on online education, but, and this is a very important point, in relation to the exploration of their own identity, especially during the COVID-19. The first aspect of the literature review, okay, that you could find in the paper is titled Fostering Empowerment and Resilience and Nurturing Holistic Well-Being in and Through Third Space for Adolescent Prosumers, which, as you know, combines two words. Okay, we are producers and consumers simultaneously, especially our students. Now, the cultivation of the affective and the cognitive domains of human learning are so important, and the engagement of spiritual or transcendental reflection have been found to be so important that they are mainly responsible in cultivating the cognitive skills and abilities of students, especially and including children and adolescents. So when we talk about well-being, if we really want to talk about, as educators, holistic well-being, we have to talk about these three domains of learning simultaneously: the cognitive and the affective, and the cognitive, because the cognitive is affected continuously by the other two. So such well-being transpires from and further strengthens empowerment for action and resilience that contribute and lead to successful and happy lives. And that's what we all want to live, and that's what we want to promote in our students, right? Successful and happy lives. So it's important to emphasize that blended learning is not and should never be just a ratio of delivery modalities, but a pedagogical approach combining the classroom socialization and effective opportunities with technologically enhanced active learning possibilities, which are obviously offered by the online environment. Our next section in the literature review was about third space blended learning, reflection, and transformation, and obviously about the relationship between these important aspects. Okay? And in summary, we could say that ample research shows that when all these domains of learning are addressed through blended learning, the third space that is always growing larger and larger, I'd say exponentially, becomes the seat of deep, reflective, transformative, lifelong learning that permeates and positively transforms lives everywhere and all the time. Okay? More specifically, research consistently shows that both the affective and the cognitive domains of learning are significantly linked to various aspects of holistic education. Okay, so when we talk about the affective domain, we're talking about the nurturing of empathy and compassion, stronger and more meaningful and long-lasting relationships. When we talk about the cognitive domain, we're referring to the cultivation of will, desire, drive, effort, mental energy, determination, which, as you can see, are so important. Okay. Now, this was a 5-month qualitative study, which we did last year. Since, as Roberta told you, I work as a head of department in church schools, okay, our sample was a convenient and a purposive sample. I would like to take the opportunity to thank once again, because I already did, all the schools that cooperated in this research. My own school, St. Michael, St. Paul's Missionary College, Our Lady Immaculate Sacred Heart, and St. Monica School, and the teachers and heads of departments who cooperated in this research. Not only in conducting the research with the students, but also in the discussions that we had among us. So we really appreciate that. When it comes to the data collection sources, okay, the research, as you can see in this table, combined the use of a questionnaire, which was used during PSCD and religious education lessons in the form of lessons, discussions, okay, with the students, who I must say really enjoyed it from the feedback I've received. I refer to these as focus group discussions, but the students also filled in this questionnaire in writing, and they were also expected to draw and to come up with creative things, and they did, not only writing, okay, so it was multimodal. The questions in the questionnaire were also prepared in the form of a visual presentation with a video also embedded in it. So questionnaires, focus group discussions. We also had individual in-depth interviews with a few of the students. It was not possible to interview them all. Observations and notes from classrooms compiled from teachers. And the students not only filled in the questionnaires, but they created mottos, slogans, paintings. They came up with metaphors, okay, which obviously reflect their own identity. These are just some details about the questionnaire, okay? And this is just an idea even of video that we used. I strongly suggest those of you who have never seen it, it's very easily accessible online on YouTube. The Great Realization, it's so interesting, so engaging, and it could help in the discussion, okay? In these slides, then, you can see the questions that were specifically included in the questionnaire, okay? But obviously, I don't have time to talk about those, to go through them. But we asked the students whether they preferred online learning or face-to-face learning or blended learning, and why, okay, and what went through their mind in their virtual whereabouts during the pandemic. We talked about and we asked them about their feelings, the questions they needed to ask, their discussions with their friends. You know, we even presented them with the blob tree so that they could see themselves in some of these, okay, and come up with a motto or logo or design that depicts how they felt before and after this period. When it comes to the data analysis, we use thematic and narrative analysis and the Rickerian, the stages of interpretation from Paul's Ricoeur's method, okay? Now, what were our main themes? The first theme, okay, was that we came up with from our analysis, self-reflexivity. Okay, self-reflexivity enhances well-being. Reflection and self-reflexivity increase self-awareness. And I just wanted to share with you just a few student quotes which we felt represented most of the moods and the feelings and the thoughts and the insights of many students. So these are all quotes from students during the interviews, during the classroom discussions, etc. When I speak, I feel much better, because for how long can you take it in? I prefer to get all my stress out when I am with my friends online. It was a very challenging year and sometimes I felt broken. But I also learned a lot, especially to appreciate what I never appreciated before. So many students admitted this was a wonderful opportunity for them to share how they felt about what they went through. Through reflection, they acknowledged life experiences do not remain unrelated and isolated, but transformed into opportunities for learning and sources for new students' learning. Our second theme was about the acquisition of holistic well-being through all the learning domains that I mentioned before. And these were the 5 sub-themes of Team B. Okay? Enhancing cognitive intelligence through various abilities, emotional literacy and intelligence through reflection. The cognitive domain could only be nurtured through reflection, which empowers for action and identity formation. The importance of enhancing spiritual intelligence, SI, not in the sense of religion. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. Spiritual intelligence in terms of meaning making, reflecting about the most important questions of life, okay, which are triggered off obviously by what happens around us. This transcendental reflection increases meaning making, empowers for transformation and resilience, and creativity, which enhances reflection and praxis, action. Okay? Another couple of quotes. These are not mine, these are our students. The computer tired me out and made me flip. Now I ended up hating school more than ever before. Frequently, I felt so frustrated trying to find out my homeworks and figuring out what to do. When teachers used Kahoot and Wakelet, I really enjoyed it, and we used to end up editing and making videos and playing around with videos. Okay? Emotional literacy and intelligence through reflection. Okay? Another quote, not venting out your feeling maddens you. When people show empathy, you can express yourself and share what you need. Then you feel better and realize you are not alone. Many students acknowledge that in itself, this was already liberating. The fact that they could speak about their emotions, okay, virtually and physically. It relieved them from a heavy burden. It was an eye-opener. It increased their awareness of their inner worlds and of the causes of their discontent and empowered them to feel better. The cognitive domain nurtured through reflection, which empowers for action. One student said, when you enjoy working on a project, you really learn a lot from it. Good that nobody tells you all the time what to do. As long as you follow instructions provided by the teacher, then it's up to you. What we refer to as self-regulation, right? So many students made it clear that such a year called for many great adjustments that had significant impact on their emotions, volition, motivation, decision-making, abilities, and even life vision, as well on one's feeling of empowerment to act on desires, achieve targets, and honor commitments. Let's keep all this in mind. Enhancing spiritual intelligence. A student said, I don't believe in God. Now even more, because all that is happening in the world and around us does not make sense at all. Sick and dying people everywhere. And what will my belief in God change after all? So, spiritual intelligence and SQ quotient, and the need for transcendental thinking came out clearly as important factors which determine meaning, especially in adverse situations. And this includes generation of purpose and meaning in life, which is common to all human beings, not only to those who believe in God or who see themselves as religious. Creativity enhances reflection and praxis. Again, students really enjoyed editing videos with friends on our hobbies, sharing them. I discover new talents in me. Now I'm looking for different things online. Another said we were introduced to many learning apps that taught me how to do many things and really enjoy them. Creative human beings always come up with different solutions to problems. They feel motivated to explore and examine alternative possibilities from various perspectives. And that's what we should always seek to do. So, upon reflecting, students acknowledged that increased creativity is something that they really benefited from during this year, obviously, which nobody wanted. Finally, Team C, I'm sorry I'm going fast because I'm very time aware. Team C, inhabiting and reinventing third space. We do not only inhabit, that's inevitable, okay? But we need to reinvent third space to offer opportunities and challenges and face the risks together with our students. So the two main sub-teams of this team are technology as a potential source of both empowerment and even inhibition of imagination. Technology can both empower and inhibit imagination. Students are also aware of the limits of technology in their quest to satisfy their basic human needs. Okay? So, a student said, I spent quite some time editing photos. In the process, I thought and reflected a lot about so many beautiful experiences with friends and family. Now I appreciate these much more. Increased activity online empowered them to imagine new and diverse pathways in life that they strive to achieve success in. But some also acknowledged that it could also inhibit their imagination due to the negative emotions that they experienced. Students were also aware of the limits of technology. One student said, how long can you spend in front of a computer? Get sickening at some point. I'm sorry, but in my research, I always quote my participants ad literam, okay? Even when they swear, okay? That's what I believe. How long can you spend in front of a computer? Get sickening at some point. I couldn't miss my friends anymore. Playing, running, exploring, doing things that we really, really enjoy doing. So apart from the benefits of technology for education, leisure and gratification, career opportunities, socializing through social networking, students have awareness of its limits and risks because they understand the importance of physical contact. My recommendations, and I will just read them out. I'm sorry, we don't have the time. Enhancing teaching and learning. If we really want to enhance teaching and learning, we have to do it as a holistic experience, okay? A holistic experience which encompasses and promotes cognitive, affective, and cognitive factors, all the learning domains. We need to address multiple intelligences in innovative ways, okay? Everybody quotes, thankfully, Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, but many people, unfortunately, are not aware, or they forget, okay, that the same Howard Gardner, after coming up with 7 different types of intelligences in his pioneering book in 1983, 17 years later, he came up with another 2 types of intelligences, which he said are inevitable for the others to be effective, okay? And one of those was existential intelligence, okay, which is more or less the same as spiritual intelligence. We need to provide educator, professional, and pedagogical development in 21st century pedagogy, skills, competences, and values in relation to effective blended learning. And we need to address holistic well-being through a third space that satisfies basic needs. We need to nurture gratitude, empathy, agency, and compassion for empowerment and resilience, and build, nurture, and educate for communities of learning and communities for learning, even online. Our last slide, the conclusions. Computers and technology are inevitably crucial, but can never understand and create relationships. Holistic approach to education and pedagogies should always be the focus of our attention as educators, parents, teachers. Blended learning must be intelligently and wisely designed to create a third space which provides students with new basic skills to be successful and happy and lead happy, healthy lifestyles. This necessarily requires all educators to share all learning domains by using digital tools that are facilitated through a 21st century mindset. We need to strengthen the emotional and cognitive domains of learning so that even then the cognitive realm of our mind could acquire knowledge that is permanent and relevant and endowed with wisdom, not static knowledge, which is senseless. The foundation of identity development lies in education for creativity, caring, and confidence so that young people can face constant challenges of a complex world, becoming agents and catalysts of positive change. Thank you.